So
What are we talking about?
I don't know. We in the car. We've been so busy trying to get some things done that we haven't been able to record our podcast, but we got to take this drive. It's going to take us about 45 minutes. So we figured, why not try
45 minutes.
an in-car podcast?
You do talk about music a lot in the car.
We do talk about music a lot in the car. So let's try it. I don't know if the audio is great, but we have an audio enhancer at home that can probably fix up anything that we do. We don't have any music on in the car. As long as cars don't blow at us, we should be okay. Next time we had these little microphone things, but we didn't charge them.
Well,
So
once they get, wait a minute. Once they get charged, then we may be able to use them.
on the next time, right. So, welcome to Rhythm of Love, the CarCast.
The CarCast.
The car. Can we coin that? The CarCast? I think people do it all the time. So
Yes, they will still call it. They may not record a whole episode in the car.
car karaoke, they do it all the time.
Car karaoke.
So you do car karaoke all the time.
No worry, we will not be doing karaoke.
No. So, we always start off our episode. Why don't you get your phone so you got all your notes and stuff on your phone? I seen the notes and stuff on your phone. So, so we like to start off each episode making sure to ask you to comment, share, and subscribe. The link will be below, probably be right there. So, you'll be able to follow us as we're doing these things. We may do this more often. We're in the car a lot. So
Sometimes it may be someone in the background say,
crab. That would be Simone. So
Yes.
but it's been a minute since we have been on. Kind of give you some highlights while she looking up those things and some stuff that has happened. So our youngest graduated from college a couple of weeks ago, so we went up to that graduation. That's been, a highlight.
Graduate from college.
I said college.
Oh,
Yeah, I said college. So now you're just trying to see how the job market and the housing market, because New York
is the destination.
is the destination.
And they're already there.
Yeah. Yep. So we got much more details about those things. We can talk about those things later, but that has been a highlight. General gigging, going around doing some different stuff, but Yolanda's still on the job hunt, so we're still pounding there. If you guys got any leads, we taking them all, because as I said to someone the other day, we leaking. Financially we leaking over here, and it doesn't, we okay, and we are not falling apart by any means, but there's a little bit of a leak going on over here. We need to figure that out. So we're working on it by reducing our intake and stuff like that. So, like, for example, we got solar panels, and we haven't had to pay an electric bill in 3 months since we got these.
Give it hallelujah.
Since we got these solar panels, we haven't paid an electric bill in 3 months.
Y'all ever known anybody to have solar panels and actually get something out of it? Because we had solar panels on our previous house and we got nothing out of it. But this time I called them when we got nothing and said, well, why don't we have nothing? Turns out they were not connected correctly.
Mm-hmm.
We had to go through 2 rounds of reconnection with the BGE people coming out in between before we were actually they were connected and on. Because That's the other thing. Is it on?
Right. Is it connected and is it actually on? Right.
So, yeah.
But now it's connected and it's on. Now we pay a fee every month of about $180
to have them.
And if we make enough power, then that's all we pay is that $180. If we make excess power, which is more power than we use, then we get a check from BGE. We got we got our first check. I think it was only about $14. Or was it 14 cents?
No, it was definitely not 14.6. I thought it was $40, but maybe it was 14.
I think it was $14. Okay. So we got the first check that we put into the grid, and then if you don't make enough energy, then BGE will send you a bill on top of the $180 that we pay. Right. So when I say we haven't had a BGE bill, what I really mean is we haven't had anything on top of that $180 that we pay. So that's actually been pretty good. And
yeah, we're not mad about that.
We're not.
$180 a month, I would pay that to the entity.
For sure. So, okay. So you ready now? All right. So the first thing that we typically are trying to do with our podcast is talk about
a song per episode. Yes. So the song of the episode for today is from an album that I learned about late.
Oh, okay.
Because a lot of albums from the 80s and 70s I learned about late, being a church kid. But once I found that album, I was like, oh my gosh, she was already one of my favorite artists. And then I was just even more hooked, and she had her hooks in me even deeper after she made Whatever It Takes. That's Anita Baker on the Compositions album.
Amazing album. Compositions is Anita Baker's 4th studio album behind The Songstress, which was number 1, Rapture, which was number 2, Giving You the Best That I've Got is number 3, and then she makes Compositions. And Compositions kind of flew under the radar. Most people didn't even know much about it. But it is, in my mind and in my opinion, humbly, I think it's the best album that she has from a composition standpoint, from a musical experience standpoint. Rapture is her masterpiece, but this is so diverse and rich and all of those types of things.
Really is. So if you don't know it well, check it out, and you can start with Whatever It Takes, or you can not. But I think it's, if you miss love songs, these are love songs. These are grown people. I'm weighing, she in this song, Whatever It Takes, she's saying, we're going to make this work, and I'm going to do what it takes to make this work. And that's the kind of songs, more of those songs, please. We need that. We need to be reminded how precious love is, and that it's worth fighting for.
I agree.
It's worth fighting for.
So that's our album, or it's our song for the week is Whatever It Takes, but you can scoop up the whole album.
The whole album.
Scoop up the whole.
Check it out.
Yes.
Whatever.
Yes. Compositions by Anita Baker is the album. The song is Whatever It Takes.
Yes.
All right. So let's see. Let's talk about. Do we have 3Bs this week, or do we have things the internet has ruined?
We did have things the internet has ruined that let me see if I can remember, because I don't think I wrote it down. But because we were talking, we've already said that the internet has ruined expertise in light of some of the things that's been going on, some of the conversation that's been happening on the internet right now. We already had said that, and now everybody's talking about it. But I'm going to say, I don't think we've said this, that the internet has ruined reading a map.
That is true. People are so directionally challenged.
Yes, or finding your way somewhere, or Yes.
The days where you could, unfold a paper map and figure out where you are and where you're going are gone.
And that is a skill. That is a true skill of just like I didn't even have all the skills before MapQuest came along and started just giving me directions on paper that I had to read.
Right.
I had to print them out before I left the house. But I got some like practice reading a map on my own when I was on a project that had me driving around DC.
Oh,
And
okay.
I had a little bit of the MapQuest, but MapQuest would get it wrong sometimes.
In
I
the
needed
early
maps.
days.
Yes,
In the
I
early days.
needed a maps as a backup to be like, okay, where is this place for real? And it's no joke. Have y'all tried to read a map? Have you tried to take yourself somewhere on a map? How long has it been? You might need to press that.
Physically on a map or a piece of. So I mean, I'll read the map as it's on the screen.
You do.
I do that all the time.
You do. I do not. Even when he has it on the screen, I'm like, what's that telling you? Why do you have that on the screen? Sometimes I follow, major street tells me when the major street is coming up and stuff like that. But it's tough.
But I'm not sure that it was the internet or if it was just the invention of GPS.
And what don't you need the internet to use GPS?
You don't need the internet to use GPS. The internet and GPS.
It's just satellite.
I mean, because Garmin existed and those types of things, which were just.
But I think that existed after MapQuest, right?
Before.
We got to do some research. Apparently, we should have done some research.
But GPS is,
I
mean, it's in the name is Global Positioning System, but
right.
But it's really based off of satellites.
Right.
So the satellites don't need the internet. You are talking directly to satellite signals.
Okay.
So
I don't know. Navigation systems you're saying might have ruined it before the internet.
Yeah.
But hello.
I mean,
it hastened it.
Simone is 25. So about 24 years ago, we were at the first house that we lived in, and we were going somewhere, and I wasn't sure where it was. So I went on MapQuest to kind of get the directions and those type of things, and I forgot to print it out.
Mm-hmm.
And Yolanda's sister was with us, and I said, "Hey, run in the house, look on the computer, and tell me what the address is of the place where we're going."
All right. She was still at home, and we were out.
No, she was with us, going with us in the car.
Okay, so you just asked her for the address instead of asking her to bring. Oh, because you hadn't printed it out.
All right.
Just needed her to look at the address on the computer screen.
Correct. So she goes upstairs and she comes back, and I said, "Okay, what's the address?" And she says, www.mapquest.com/ question mark 555. What? And I was like, "What are we talking about here? What are we doing?"
She was like, "An address is the URL.
Right.
That's the address."
So, but there you go. So, things that the internet has ruined is people's ability to read maps. Because they follow that blue line or that whatever color line, and when it says turn, that's where they turn. And they don't have. And if you ask them how they got here, they can't tell you.
No,
they can't tell you. So it's ruined your ability to understand where you are.
It's how you get to places. So tell us in the comments, what are some ways that you try to keep yourself sharp?
Or if you even care.
Right, like class will just look at the map on the navigation system without putting in anything for it to give directions. And I will try to get back from the place I went to without turning on the directions. Depending on, is it daytime?
If you're out of town, that's fine. I get
how
that.
late it is. Right, yeah, of course. Out of town, you go and depend on it.
Right.
But yeah. We not thinking. We letting the internet think for us.
Let's think for us. Let's think for us. AI is coming.
For our blank minds.
For our blank minds. It's coming for blank minds. That's perfect. It's perfect.
All right. So what's up? What are we talking about this week?
Look at your subjects.
Yeah.
Look at your subject. I added a few things since
I saw you back something. You added, what's the difference between being, look at mine. I don't have mine. What's the difference between being credentialed, knowledgeable, and experienced?
Right. Okay. That's a good topic. Let's talk.
Okay.
I got issues. So everybody has been talking over the last couple of weeks, and every time it dies down, something happens to bring it back up about this thing with Cheyenne Bryan and her, and those different kinds of things that she's going through. I'm not going to rehash it. If you don't understand what's going on,
just Google her name.
Just Google her name, and it'll come up. There are questions about some things about her, whether or not she was in school, or whether or not she's actually a doctor, or where she went to school, stuff like that. So I'm not going to relitigate any of that. But it brings me to the question of people, the differences between being knowledgeable about something, being experienced in something, and then being credentialed in something. And, what are your thoughts on what it means to be knowledgeable about something?
I mean, knowledge is free. So you could be knowledgeable about something by, getting a book on it, or books. Or, in some cases, you be knowledgeable of something by taking an online class, or,
sure,
a class at your local library. By going, having discussions about it with people who are, well versed in the topic or the subject. And so knowledge can be obtained by anyone, and you can know what you're talking about.
Right. So I think so. I would describe so.
We're starting with knowledge.
Yeah,
right? We're not going further than knowledge.
I would describe, because we always talk about marriage stuff, I would decide somebody who is knowledgeable about marriage is just someone who has casual understanding and casual interactions. For example, when I'm growing up, I grew up in a house with my mom and dad being married, so I have knowledge about a marriage to a degree. I don't have any
very limited degree.
That's the whole point to me. That's the whole point. It is limited in the definition of the word to me. In relation to the other things, it is limited. It is.
I agree with that. However, if I'm knowledgeable about something, that's a little more than I've just observed, an example of it.
Okay.
To me, in that case, you were knowledgeable about your parents' marriage.
Correct.
Right.
And it's even more limited.
Right.
Even more
limited.
But even more limited. Yes.
Knowledge is only going so far. It's only based on, like I said, check out a book from the library, so you know what that author told you about the subject.
Okay. Okay.
So yes, I do not agree. I do agree that it is limited. But yeah, there's a range of limitations.
So it's a spectrum.
Yeah, a spectrum of how much you know about something.
It. So when you are knowledgeable about something, you could know very little, or you could be.
Well, no, I wouldn't use the word knowledgeable if you only know very little. I would be specific about what you know.
So, but reading one book, does that make you knowledgeable? I mean, because that's one book.
Right.
One
Which is
book.
what I said. Yes, that's one book, but at least an author or authors are trying to give you as complete a pretty complete perspective on a topic.
Are they really though? Are they really though? But okay. I'm not going to debate it.
Maybe you read 2 books, you read 3 books. You trying
But
to find out about this
once
thing.
you start, but now you are moving beyond. You are moving beyond. Once you say, "Oh, you read 2 books, or you read 3 books," now you are pursuing knowledge about this subject.
Sure.
Okay.
So that you can be knowledgeable. And when it comes up in a conversation, you can say, blah, blah, blah. This is what I know. This is what I read.
This is what I read. Okay, but so again, when you are on, people online take their anecdotal experience and the anecdotal books that they have read and those types of things, and
I wouldn't even give them that much credit. That they read books.
at a minimum.
I think they're reading article, somebody's blog or somebody's write-up online. A book is a little more.
I think you give it more credit than I think you give it more credit because of your background. But there are tons of articles that are not full books that still give you plenty of information.
Okay, I mean you were hating on the book, so now you're saying the article is.
No. I'm not hating at all on any of them.
I use that word facetiously, but you were saying that how much knowledge can you get out of reading one book? And I'm saying
I would say the same thing for
more
one
knowledge than you go get out of reading one article.
Which is why I say that this thing about being knowledgeable about something is more of a spectrum.
Yes.
You are leaning very far to the full envelopment on the right. And I'm not, and that's not the world we live in. They consider themselves knowledgeable after reading an article. They consider themselves knowledgeable after listening to a podcast.
This is so true.
They consider themselves knowledgeable from hearing Joe Budden say, and the people on his show,
have a
of which I only think Mark Lamont Hill and Joe Budden are even married. But and I don't think any of them, other than Mark Lamont Hill, have written anything. So now I don't know their readers either. And I want to think of coming for them, and I certainly can't come for them. I don't know them to come for them. But
the point is
they don't spark me as readers.
A podcast does not, especially one that is. I've been thinking about this phrase ever since this, Cheyenne Bryant stuff came up. Is it's for entertainment purposes only.
Right.
Remember how they tried to sue Tucker Carlson because he was giving false information on his show, and his defense was, "I'm an entertainer. This is for entertainment." And I think we need to remind ourselves that 9 times out of 10, these podcasts, unless they are led by, and we're going to get to this, a experienced, licensed or credentialed professional in the field, then it's for entertainment purposes.
Right.
People can speak from their experiences in terms of, like, I have been married or I'm not married, but if I was, my parents' marriage, but it's for entertainment purposes only. And I think we need to remind ourselves of that. Some people, they don't even know what's going on in the world unless it's said in a podcast or unless somebody makes a reel or a thread about it.
So to me, that's perfect as a segue into the second level of this for me, which was experienced, because I think that for people who have knowledge of something, to have experience of something in that same area really makes your knowledge
it's applied. Now
applicable.
It's applied.
Right.
Yes. Now it's useful in a real world situation as opposed to more theoretical of this is how it should work. When I was growing up in church, You know, we used to talk about, you know, praying to God for knowledge and praying to God for wisdom. And, you know, and the ability to discriminate and know the difference. You know, you can know a scripture, but can you apply that scripture in your life? And that's where wisdom comes in, is taking what you have learned and actually putting it into practice
Right.
in real life situations.
So when I get on when I hear people on the podcast, when I hear people on the shows, when I hear people speak, there is a perception. That's not the word I want. There is a preconceived notion that these people are experienced in this area. Otherwise, why are they on this panel?
Right.
If you know, so, and I'm always shocked at how people don't want to examine that, because you know there's you know, some people with some limited knowledge, there's some people with some moderate knowledge, there's some people who we want to call, in your case, knowledgeable. That's kind of how you have laid it out. But there are, of the people who are knowledgeable about a subject, there are even fewer of those people who are experienced.
Right.
Because you can't be knowledgeable and not experienced.
Oh, you can't be experienced in.
Oh yes, that's I got it backwards. You're right.
You can't be experienced without being knowledgeable.
Right.
Sure. Right. Experienced as in you had more than one experience.
Right. And the more experienced you are, the more
practice and master,
the more
you are,
the stronger your opinion is. That's the word I want to use, but that's
the more credence behind your opinion.
Right.
Because it still can be an opinion, but at least it's based in actual facts and experience.
Correct.
When you wanna apply for a job, it's only you're gonna get an entry level job after you just went to school, you got the letters or got the certificate or whatever.
Sure.
You are not going to get the job that someone who has done the actual job in, even 2 or 3 years. Y'all are not going to get the same level job. Y'all not going to get the same level pay, have the same level of responsibilities.
Right.
Because we're looking for somebody who is not only knowledgeable, but experienced.
Right. And so, yeah, I mean, the newest thing in my life that I would say I am experienced in and knowledgeable is DJing. I remember starting out. I remember not knowing how to handle certain situations because I just didn't have enough experience. And now, the more experienced I am, I know how to deal with certain responses and certain interactions, and your laptop dying or your laptop having a problem,
right,
or taking a backup laptop and making sure you have these things. Yolanda teases me all the time. She says you got, basically I have 2 of everything, at least 2 of almost everything.
When he goes out on a gig,
and some of the stuff never comes out of the car because it's only there in case the thing that I take out the car has a problem.
Yes.
But if it has I don't need it.
Even if it comes out of the car,
it still doesn't come out of the case.
Come out of the case or the bag.
Right.
Because it's only there as a backup. But you learn that because you have an experience where you are like, dang, if I had a backup,
I wouldn't have this problem.
Be better.
I would not have this problem. I saw a DJ online post a video where he said that his computer kept disconnecting from his controller, and so he took a playlist that he had on an iPad. Not a playlist. He took a premix that he had done on an iPad from him practicing at home and putting some premixes together, and he tapped that into it because he found out it was the cable that was connecting the two that was the problem.
Okay.
And one of his buddies was bringing him a cable, but it wasn't going to get there.
He needed something to carry him over.
But he needed some music.
Mhm.
And I have actually had that experience when we were streaming online one time, and my controller kept blanking out, and it was because it was a bad cable.
Mhm.
And that's when I decided there's going to be 3 cables in that bag from this point on. 3 cables in that bag. So we got plenty of cables.
The cable bags are so heavy. I be like, bruh, you gonna hurt yourself. What's going on?
All right. So let's talk about the very last one.
Oh, don't strain your milk.
That's funny. Which I think is important, which in my mind trumps all of the other ones to a degree, which is credential.
Oh, I was like, Trump.
Yay.
How we get Trump in here? But we're
Right.
talking about the word, you're using the word.
Credentialed. When you're credentialed on a subject,
That means you have shown your knowledge and your experience to an accrediting board or a panel of professionals,
right,
or to the people who you want to be
right,
like, and they've said yes. You passed the test, you have the knowledge, you've done the hours of experience, or whatever, and we back you up.
right.
You can go out there and tell anybody that you have this and you have our stamp.
You have our stamp. And the value in that is that it is typically third party that is giving you this accreditation.
All right. I think that's, yeah.
It's
The value of that, right?
right. It's usually a third party.
Somebody objective.
Right.
They,
People who can say no.
right. And don't have any feeling about you either way.
Right.
They're not like, oh, I liked you, or oh, I taught you, so I gotta say yes, because I was your teacher.
And then there are people and when you have this accreditation, there's some minimums required on it. There are some baseline standards that say you have done this or you need to have done this in order to get to this level.
Right.
So there are some very objective standards, measurements is a much better word. Some objective measurements that you can put forth that say that this is true about this particular candidate.
Mm-hmm.
And those accreditations have a spectrum of choices as well, because you can be
like a certificate in something,
right,
or you have a degree in something, or
a PhD,
you have the highest degree in something.
Right, you have a PhD.
You have a just a 4-year degree. You have a master's, but if you have the PhD, you basically written the book yourself.
The word that's used when we talk about this is to get a PhD, it means that you have introduced new knowledge into the space.
Yes. That you have shown something to be true, or shown something to be effective, or shown that B follows A in 75% of the time, or whatever. Something that a question you're asking, a very specific question that has not been asked yet.
Right.
And you're giving an answer based on standards,
right,
of how you can answer a question like that.
And your answer may not necessarily be the answer. It is just an answer based on these data points, this information collected, that this is a possible and a plausible answer for this question.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Someone else should be able to come along and repeat what you did. And if they do it in the same exact environment, that you did with the same exact parameters, they should get the same answer as you.
Right.
But if they, somehow change some of those parameters, then they're now adding a new, side to this, a facet to this piece of knowledge.
correct. So I just think that we don't discuss and one of the things we should have said this, what the internet has diminished is the value of those things, of accreditation. It has raised the value of people's opinion and what they popular say, as opposed to what has been empirically studied and detailed, and people who have spent time.
That's boring.
And
nobody wants to read that. Nobody's excited about that. But if you are a great speaker and charismatic and good to look at, then, you must know.
You must know.
You somehow must know what you're talking about.
And that's not true.
It's so not true.
So, I don't blame the internet as much as I blame, I do blame the internet a little bit, but I do blame the state of where we are as a society.
Right. We traded, knowledge, experience, and credentialing for just, do I like you?
Do I like you?
Are you likable to me? Then everything you say must be right. Or do you have a certain kind of voice that when you say it with confidence, you say it with authority. You move people when you say it.
Right.
And you ain't said nothing.
Right. You ain't said nothing. You did nothing. Word salad.
Right.
Word salad. Words. That's all you said.
Trying to act on what you said. And I'm like, I feel like she left out a piece.
She left out a lot. He left out a lot.
Right.
Because
this is something I can't really get from A to B just using what they said.
Right. So when I hear people on the internet talking about they did their research, really what they're talking about is they've gained some knowledge. Some knowledge. They've read some articles. They've watched some YouTube videos. They've read a book or two. They've gained some knowledge. But that
maybe sometimes, like you said, we said before, people haven't even done as much as you just said. But yes. If people say I do my research, it's because I watch 3 different YouTubers talk about it, not just one YouTuber.
Right. So, but my point is, those people, their knowledge should be taken
for what it is.
For what it is, which is just an accumulation of thoughts, and they formed what I would consider to be an opinion.
Right, because an opinion can be based in some fact.
They formed an opinion.
But it doesn't become fact because you have a few facts to back it up.
Right. It's just an opinion.
It's just an opinion. Still.
So when we talk about, as we approach Fastly, 30 years.
Quickly. Mm-hmm. Or Fastly.
Fastly not a word?
I don't know.
Is Fastly not a word? Y'all let me know if Fastly is a word. Quickly, I guess, is of course we know quickly is a word, but I would think Fastly would be a word. I'm not sure. Okay. So as we approach our 30th wedding anniversary, I would consider us to be knowledgeable about marriage
and
experience. But that even those things are limited to
our relationship. Or the 1 or 2 relationships that we've gotten to see a little bit of an inside view of.
We have depth within our marriage. We have tangential knowledge of other people and things that they've done. Mm-hmm. So,
but we're not credentialed.
We
would never declare that we are.
But the funny thing is, I'm not sure that we should. I'm not sure that we should not consider ourselves marriage experts. We have long since said we did not want to put ourselves forward as experts in a humbling kind of way because we value people's credentials. Right. We value the work that the people who get credentials and who go through the classes and who go through those things, we value that.
Because you can lose your credentialing. You can still have that knowledge. You can still have that experience. But if you don't uphold the standards of the credential and or
The ethics.
you don't hold up the ethics of that of what that credentialing allows you to do, and the trust that you have with people who are paying you for what you can do, then you can lose it.
You can lose.
So that's why we value the kind of that level of standardization.
Which is why we typically never refer to ourselves as marriage experts. We are experts in one marriage. We have expert experience, knowledge, and trust me, is credentialed within our marriage.
Oh, I was gonna say we have the marriage license to prove it.
We don't have the
we don't have the
marriage license.
We lost it, y'all.
We lost it 6 months in.
Taking a cruise.
6 months in, we lost our marriage license.
My license, my identification changed to my new name, and I think the tickets were in the new name, and so we had to bring along a marriage certificate to prove that yes, I'm married. And she is who she is. Says she.
And I left it on a bus with my book bag and a Bible.
It's a nice book bag.
It's a nice book bag. That was
a nice Bible.
Yeah,
actually,
it was all gone. We tried to call back
somebody. Yeah, they didn't.
So there may be another Clarence and Yolanda Lewis out there
with our credentials.
With our credentials, perpetrating a fraud.
That's crazy.
If you see that, if you see them, please let us know.
But yeah, okay, and we're interested in getting our license back. But the other thing I wanted to say, you started to say, we can be considered credentialed, or we could be considered marriage experts. And we might not be, I would think of an expert as someone who kind of has the value of knowledge that has been applied widely, as opposed to just in one marriage or in 5 marriages.
Right.
But this knowledge has been gleaned from, a lot of people's experience. However, I would recommend you talk to us who's 30 years in as opposed to someone who's 6 months in.
Correct.
Or someone who is 7 years in.
Right.
We have experienced a gamut of ups and downs that affect our marriage, and, have had to learn a lot to keep a marriage to this point that maybe someone with, a third of our length of time being married might not be able to say. And certainly more than someone who's never been married. Okay, stop giving you advice for someone who's never been married. I love those people who are like, just because I ain't ever been married doesn't mean I know common sense. Common sense is doing a lot of work for some of y'all. Common sense is doing a lot of work because, we're talking about, applying your common sense to, across these different experiences, and it doesn't hold up sometimes. What you think is, especially in a relationship, what you think is common sense, it doesn't work in you and that person's relationship.
Right.
It's common sense to you. We call it common sense, but all it means is just I've accepted it, and maybe the people I know agree with me, and so that makes it common. But if you married to somebody, you married to somebody with a completely different set of experiences than you, and so what's common for them is not what's common for you.
All right. So I guess at the end of this, all I want to say is that I said we did all those things about knowledgeable, about credentialed, about experience to get to defining what an expert is. And an expert, in my opinion, is a person who has a variety of degrees of information in all those areas. Mm-hmm. Some higher, some lower. Mm-hmm. Maybe you are credentialed, but you are which makes you by inherently knowledgeable, but you're not necessarily experienced. Does that?
Right.
But you still, because of the credential stuff,
Right.
it raises you as somewhat of an expert in this area.
Right. So that's what I was trying to get at with your knowledge. It's not just reading one book or two books, or
Right.
your knowledge is absorbing from the expertise, knowledge, and experience of, some well-founded experts in your field
Sure.
and who have experience across different scenarios, different, they're applying all different parameters and coming back with the same similar answers. So just because you personally don't have that experience, you just got your degree as a marriage therapist or whatever.
But once you take the test and you pass the test, then you couldn't be considered an expert. But if you go up to the other side of that, which is you have the knowledge, you don't have the credentialing, but you've been doing it for a very long time, then you can also be considered an expert because your practical experience has garnered you some weight that
just having the knowledge doesn't.
Correct.
I mean, that's true for some jobs as well. Is that they will replace. You might not have a degree, but you've been doing it for the last 7 years.
Correct.
So we're going to accept that as equal to
So
someone who
yes,
has a
you see
degree.
that on the job applications a lot. This or this
much
experience.
This degree or this much experience or whatever.
So
Yeah.
combinations of those things. So all right. So I'm gonna put that down because my eyes are getting some sunlight from the evening sun.
I'm sure they were wondering.
So this was really a conversation in the values of what makes an expert, because we talked about this so much while we were listening to all this Cheyenne Bryant conversation, because she presents herself as an expert, a relationship expert, and
you gotta have some backing. What backs you up to be an expert?
and it can be a combination of things.
But she missing.
Well, we won't get into
20%.
We're not going. She missing a lot more than 20%.
She missing a lot.
She missing more than I think that a person who wants to call themselves an expert is
should
missing.
have.
Yeah, she missing more than that person. So, but that's not for me to say. If people want to pay her $350 an hour to talk to them, then by all means, I wish I had that
I would
job.
think if you had $350 an hour to get to somebody, you would be smarter than that.
Yeah,
I would think.
I would think. But
unless I guess your money just dropped, you inherited it or so.
So.
Or you charging it and you plan on paying for it later.
Right.
You're not that smart.
So, all right. This is what we want you to do. On Sunday night, we'll be on Heartbeats in the Basement. We've been doing some really, really cool stuff with on the show lately. So if you get a chance to come by and check us out, please do. We can't wait to have you.
Yes.
Twitch.tv/DJ C# is the channel, and you can come hang out with us.
Please do. It's fun. It's so much more fun. You see a whole different side of both of us in the live stream. Live is fun. So join us.
So, also, I'm gonna say it again. If you're listening to this episode, we would appreciate it if you would hit that subscribe button. It's
free.
It's free, and we're just trying to build up our audience, and you guys are our audience. So we appreciate your effort.
Our community.
Our community.
That's what we're building the community of people, because we want to hear from you too. So feel free to just comment as well. Disagree. We're not afraid of disagreements. I remember somebody on TikTok, after we posted that little clip where I said that the number out of my top 3 moms, number 3 was Claire Huxtable, and girlfriend was like, I can't even spend time on somebody who's not Claire Huxtable. I was not bothered by that at all. You know? Everybody has their strong feelings.
So
But,
we'll make it all work. So come on through, and we'll catch you on the next episode. I'm Clarence.
I'm Yolanda. And
This is our Rhythm of Love in the car.
all right.
Y'all have a good one. All right. We hope you've enjoyed another exciting episode of Rhythm of Love, the podcast, hosted by Clarence and Yolanda Lewis.
Theme song by Kendra R.
Book graphics by Rihanna Denise.
More information is available at cylentertainment.com.
Please join us on Sunday nights for our live stream on twitch.tv/DJC Sharp.